If you were afraid to play Summoner on the last beta of Diablo 4, this build will show you that it's still very strong even in late game, you'll have plenty of damage and always your maximum skeleton alive. For the gear and legendary, we'll obviously be playing summon skeletons and we want to boost it with our legendary powers. So you can increase the number of warrior skeletons, of mage skeletons, grant them attack speed when they attack an enemy and increase damage the more they stay alive. You'll see that we don't have any trouble for our skeletons to stay alive. Then you want Decompose, it will increase the damage that enemies take from your summons. It can also generate a corpse and you want to associate it with reduced damage taken. Another debuff for your enemies with Blight, and you can take the passive granting increased attack speed when you land a critical hit. Army of the Dead will be useful if you are in bad situation. Of course it will deal some damage, but also almost instantly summon your whole army. Lastly, we want Golem and the corpse explosion, which will be shadow damage. For the remaining gear, you want increased damage when you stay still, a barrier when you hit an elite, and the fact that you'll get immune to CC when you are hit during a CC effect. If you want to play a bit more around your golem, you can also consider it this passive. For the gems in armor, you want rubies in order to boost your life, diamonds for the weapon to boost your damage of your ultimate, and in accessory resistances. For the Book of the Dead, you want the Reapers in order to generate corpse. If you have enough corpse generation, you can also go for the critical one. For the mages, you want the shadow one with either the stun or the additional shot. And lastly, the steel golem in order to make enemies vulnerable. For the skills, don't forget that you have the builder on the link below the video and you want to play Decompose and Blight. Both of them will debuff enemies and Decompose can also generate a corpse. Then you get the Flesh passive, it can generate a corpse on a lucky hit. Go to the corpse explosion and turn its damage into Shadow 1. You also want the corpse passives in order to boost your essence and damage, and of course increase damage and life for your skeletons. First one is for warriors and just after it's for your mages. A bit below you want the shadow passives in order to boost your damage and the necrotic carapace in order to get fortified. Since we have many ways to generate corpse, it will be useful to tank a bit more. You get the ultimate with the associated passive and everything linked to summons around it. You have the life and damage for your golem, damage for your skeletons and so on, but there's one very important, the fact that your priest will heal more your skeletons. Take this one as fast as possible in order for your skeletons to always be full heals. Lastly, you end up with the shadow passive in order to boost your overall damage. A quick word on Parangon, you want to have intelligence, shadow damage and everything linked to your minions, for example minion damage. This build is not made for PvP, but if you want to do so with this one, there's still a few things that you need to change. First one, always have your ultimate ready, don't use it during PvE activities in PvP area. When you encounter a player, you'll want to have this one ready. Second thing, remove your golem for a defensive spell, for example the Blood Mist, in order to be invulnerable. I'll finish this video with two gameplays, the first one against elites and the second one against the boss. I wanted to show you that in any situation you'll always have your full army and that it's quite easy to kill either boss or elites. Of course the whole gameplay is in tier 3 difficulty. When you're facing a pack, there's one thing that you must be very careful. You should every 5 seconds summon the priest for your skeletons in order to heal them. That's the very core of your army and for it to stay alive. Since we have enough corpse generation, it will be quite easy to have this corpse in order to heal your summons. Otherwise, just try to debuff elites with Decompose and Blight, and of course you can spam the corpse explosion in order to do some damage. If you have a nice spike or if you're in trouble, you just need to press your ultimate, you'll see that it does plenty of damage and of course generates skeletons if you missed some. In the end, gameplay is quite easy and you can kill any pack of elites that you want. For the boss, it's even easier because you have plenty of one target DPS. You just debuff the boss, use the corpse in order to heal your skeletons, and otherwise it's quite easy. As before, use your ultimate in order to do ton of damage and the boss should melt in a few seconds. Thanks for watching this video, I hope that you liked this build and that you won't anymore be afraid to play a summoner at the release of Diablo 4.